Hey, Angie Nelson here from theworkathomelife.com. Today we're going to be talking about some great work from home jobs that don't involve sales. You're going to find a nice variety here of different industries that are available, and you'll likely find something that will work for your situation and your schedule. Make sure you stay till the end of the video to find out how you can learn more about these great jobs we're talking about in this video, in addition to some of the latest companies that are hiring for work-at-home positions. Now, one of the most common concerns that I get from those new to working from home is that they don't want a position that involves sales. Maybe you don't like pressuring people or being pressured yourself, and having any kind of a sales job may mean that you're experiencing both of those things. And in some cases, your pay may be directly tied to commissions that you are getting from sales that you are generating. So if you're not so good at sales, that can definitely have an impact on your income potential. Now, whatever it is you don't like about sales, the good news is there are plenty of work-at-home jobs available that don't have any kind of sales aspect at all. Now, a lot of people come to me thinking that all customer service or phone jobs are tied to some kind of sales, but that just isn't the case. There are a lot of phone jobs that are out there that don't involve sales at all. Now, one of the things I really like about work-at-home phone jobs is that many of these do guarantee an hourly rate. That can be especially important for those of you who are needing to transition quickly from a full-time outside of the home job to working from home. Some of these may pay for training even, but you are going to be receiving a guaranteed paycheck on a regular schedule, and that's going to be really important to many of you. Now, some of these positions may even offer you benefits. So if you're being hired as an employee, if you are full-time, you may be able to get access to healthcare insurance, 401k plans, and even paid time off. Now, one of the first phone jobs we're going to talk about that doesn't involve sales is through a company called Westat. And what Westat does is they collect information from consumers. They hire at-home telephone data collectors, and what these agents do is conduct interviews and surveys on the phone on subjects such as the environment, health, transportation, and more. Now, most of these positions do require that you be able to work on the nights or weekends, and many of these positions at Westat do come with a commitment of 20 to 40 hours per week. Now, another really interesting telephone position is going to be the Pleo Good Start Mentors program. Now, what these people do is they are at-home agents that are calling patients and helping them to establish a good medication routine, and also providing resources and reminders by phone. Now, this is going to be a great one for those of you that don't really want any customer service or sales aspects involved in your job. And it can be really fulfilling as well, as you are making that connection with someone who's really in need of your services. Now, another phone position that we have talked about several times here on my YouTube channel is Yardie Matrix. Now, this one, it is a great option for those of you who have kids at home and are worried about background noise, because this job doesn't so much care. What you're doing as an agent for Yardie Matrix is you're making telephone calls to rental property managers in many cases, and you're inquiring about the rent or the properties that are going to be rented to gather more information for the company that you're working for. And because you're posing as an actual renter, the background noise isn't so important. Many people actually consider this more like mystery shopping by phone, because you are posing as an actual consumer as opposed to a customer service agent or a sales rep. Now, these positions are going to be seasonal and temporary. The pay is usually hourly with some kind of a surveys completed incentive. In most cases, the state minimum wage where you live is going to be guaranteed. Now, there are actually quite a few of the phone positions that don't involve sales. Now, I know that many of you, this isn't your dream job. It isn't for most people. But if you can swing it, I do encourage you to at least give it a try temporarily. As I said, this can be a great way to transition yourself from working in a traditional job to working from home, and also give you an opportunity to kind of learn the ropes and see what this whole working from home thing is about, and give you something to put on your resume so you can move into some of the more fulfilling positions that do meet more of your passion points. Now, if you're totally against being on the phone and you do have some great grammar and research skills, you may be able to find a good position in the writing or proofreading or editing industries. Now, freelance writing is usually open to beginners. You don't need to have any special education or experience in most cases. If you are wanting to get into things like proofreading or editing, those do usually require some type of experience, even if it is just doing some freelance writing long term. Now, equipment-wise for this one, you are going to need a reliable home computer and internet access, though it doesn't need to be of any particular speed usually. As long as you can get your files uploaded and turned in on time, your client usually doesn't care much about the equipment that you're using. Now, a few companies you may want to look into here are SmartBrief, Skyward, or Content Divas. There's also a company called Cactus that frequently hires for editors and proofreaders. Now, a fan favorite among my community is test scoring. This one doesn't involve phones and it doesn't involve sales of any kind. What you are doing is grading essays and tests from students. Now, this one does usually require a bachelor's degree, though in many cases that can be in any subject. Some companies out there will require you to have some teaching experience or even a teaching license. Now, these are often seasonal positions as well. Measurement Inc. is one company that's really popular among my readers. This one, the busy season is usually from March to about June. If you're doing a great job, they'll contract you back. I do have several readers that have been with that company for several years now, and they really enjoy the work. Now, there are some guidelines that you're going to have to learn and follow, but it can be a really great position. Now, search engine evaluation is another one that's really popular among my community members. This one doesn't have any phones involved. All you are going to be doing is assessing search engine results or ads that are being displayed on search engine results or social media platforms for their relevancy and quality. There's usually no particular education or experience required for these positions. Most simply require that you're eligible to work in the United States and that you have good English writing skills. Now, some of these positions are going to require you to work on a desktop, but there are some that actually allow you to work on just your smartphone as well. Now, one thing to note about this is that many of my readers have told me that these gigs are really easy once you get the hang of them. But the hiring process does involve usually a multi-step testing phase. Usually it's about 3 tests that you have to take, and those are pretty hard, so it is something that you're going to want to take seriously because I think you only get one chance to retake those. And there are going to be a lot of guidelines that you're going to have to follow, but once you get the hang of it, it's a breeze. Now, most of these jobs are going to be project-based, so that means that they're only going to run for a specified period of time or only until that work runs out. So it is going to be something that you can be a great gig, but it is going to be one that you can't always depend on because the work might run out eventually. That being said, many companies do allow you to work for several projects at one time if you do have the availability. Now, a couple of companies you're going to want to look into here are Appen, Lionbridge, and LeapForce. Now, the last one we're going to talk about today is a virtual assistant. Now, when we start getting into things like freelancing, you may be thinking, well, yeah, but I do have to sell myself and sell my services. That's true if you're going to be an entrepreneur out on your own, getting your own clients and contracting with those people directly. But there are several companies out there that we call multi-VA firms. And these companies, they're the ones that are out there getting the clients and signing the contracts, and then they are farming the work out to a variety of virtual assistants or freelancers of another kind. Now, one thing to note in that position is that because they're taking a lot of that sales aspect off and they're taking care of all the dirty work, they're also going to be taking a portion of your rates as well. So what they're charging the clients isn't necessarily what you're going to be making, but in some cases it can be $11 to $18 an hour depending on the services that you're providing. Now, when it comes to those in-demand services, right now we're looking at things like social media management. There may be some freelance writing involved, depending on the company and the clients that they are contracting. If it's more business professionals, you may be looking at things like travel arrangements or general administrative work. There are even some companies out there that hire virtual receptionists that are doing nothing but taking calls and setting appointments. Now, if this is an industry you'd like to look into, you can look into companies like Time Etc., Worldwide 101, or Belay for positions that they may have available at this time. Now, if you are a risk taker and maybe that steady paycheck isn't so important to you, you can always go out on your own and be an entrepreneur. Start your own business and you get to decide whether it's going to involve sales or not. But the positions that we're talking about in today's video are just some of those that are going to allow you to get your foot in the door in the work-at-home world and give yourself a general feel for what it's like, and maybe you can decide later on whether that's a step that you want to take. Now, in the description below, I'm going to leave you a link to a blog post that's going to tell you more about these industries that we spoke about today, in addition to some other great options that you have available. And I'm also going to leave you a link to my job leads page, which is updated several times a week with some of the latest job listings in the work-at-home world. Now, if you liked today's video, please give it a like and a share, and make sure that you're subscribed to my channel so you'll get notification of the next video. Until then, I wish you best of luck in finding work from home.